Well, good evening and welcome to the Resilient Living podcast. I am Jared Wilson, the owner of Resilient Living, joined by my friend Ryan.
Hey, everybody.
And as people are rolling in, I've got my product. I've been kind of digging through all of my different products, like what do I really want to talk about? And Arcturus. Okay, so this is the Arcturus poncho. I couldn't figure out which one's like. It's like got the wool blankets. I've got the survival blankets. I've got the ponchos. Like the poncho is easier. It's convenient. It's small, and that's why you should have it with you. Is because it's convenient and it's small. This is great because not only is it a poncho, so you can throw it over you, but you can stretch it out, and it is a tarp, and it's a pretty darn decent tarp. Like this thing is long enough that it draped over me will reach just about to the floor, front and back. So unsnapped, it's huge. Oh yeah, and it has snaps down the side. So it's not just like old school poncho that just like hangs front and back. It actually snaps together. And so the wind won't blow it up in your face or something silly. So um emergency shelter, changing the tire by the roadside, you don't want to get wet, having a poncho in your vehicle, always a good thing to have. So swing by the
Yeah,
shop,
well,
buy a poncho.
ponchos are like a good high quality poncho with a proper pouch that you know where it is.
Yeah, right.
Man, that can get you out of so many bad situations or
Oh
keep you
yeah.
warm enough. You throw it over the top of your wool blanket that you've got
Yep.
on.
Yep.
Um, yeah, throw an insulative layer under it. That's great. I love
Yep.
that.
For all my
So,
prior service, you gotta have your whoopee. Gotta have your whoopee with you all times.
right. Um, Yeah, and so as people are rolling in here, I just wanna mention that this specific live stream, we really want your input, like things that
That'd be
you
great.
would be interested or that you're doing to get ready for spring, get ready for the growing season, the warmer weather. We've got a list and we've kinda covered it a bit and we'll cover it as we go, but, for anybody who's got comments or thoughts or, we wanna hear what you're doing to get ready for spring because
Yep.
might be something that we're not, haven't even thought of.
Yeah, well, and we got people like, Vic jumps in here, then we got people from other states that are, jumping in that have different concerns, different issues. Sup, Steve? Um, so yeah, throw it in the comments and if we can, we'll get to it. And yeah. So
Awesome.
so where we're gonna start.
Well, everybody the thing that people most think of when it comes to spring is it's like,
It's
"I'm gonna get
garden
my
time.
garden in." Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
gardening time, right? So let's start there because I think, that's what people think of first. So,
Yeah.
um, you
Well, I was
know
out in my front yard this morning going, okay, this is where I want to have this bed, and this is where I want to have this bed. And I'm like, okay, well, I really want to lay down. We've got critters. I'm walking the ground. I feel these soft spots, and I can see the raised bump going along my the ridge cap. I was like, oh man, I don't want to deal with these. So I'm like, okay, first things first. Maybe I'm gonna have to throw down some metal mesh to keep the critters down before I throw down my raised beds or whatever I'm gonna use.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, throwing things down, getting that space ready. One of the things I thought of is kind of finalizing your crop plan, like
Hmm.
what you're actually gonna grow. Um,
And grow things you're
narrow
gonna eat.
yeah, grow things you're gonna eat, grow things that do well in your zone.
Yeah.
Um, winter is kind of that time where you get the homesteader crack, which is also known as the seed magazine seed catalogs.
Yeah, right. You go
And
pouring
you
seeds.
think
Oh
about
god.
all the
Ooh, I want
things
that one. This one, I
that
want that one.
that's right. And you're like, "Oh, that one looks cool." Um, but you really should my advice on that is get the things that you know you're gonna eat, that grow well, they're kinda your staple crops, and then try 1 or 2 new things each year. Don't
Sure.
overload it.
Sure.
So, pick your top 2, try those, see if you like 'em, and then you're not taking up a bunch of space with stuff you're not gonna eat
Right.
or use.
So what are you doing? What crops are you going in your garden?
Well, I'm gonna do the normals, mostly sweet peppers. We do some mild jalapenos. I actually got Jack Spirko's jalapeno seed that's been kind of whittled down
Nice.
to a fairly mild one. Then tomatoes, and I'm gonna try a lot harder to do some things like basil that I
Ooh.
it's so easy to grow, and
Yeah.
I always forget it. Or what tends to happen is chickens or other things get into my garden and scratch it up.
Fair enough.
Um, So that's part of my prep, and I did this earlier in the winter actually, was I went through and I put up, better fencing along the bottom. So, like, the bottom, bottom 2 feet or so, I put
Oh,
up
okay.
wire to make sure the chickens can't squeeze through,
Sure.
and rabbits for that matter. Um, so yeah, how about you? Are you gonna try to put a bed in this year?
That's the goal. I've been going back and forth. So we have just up the road. There's a metal fabrication place. They build like barns and things. And I want to go up there and it's like, hey, your metal comes in these long thin strips. Can we do
Yeah.
some raised beds real quick and easy? Like just real down and dirty. Throw them on the ground. Throw some dirt in there. Good to go.
Yep.
Um, so that's my plan at the moment. But I've still got my friend keeps bugging me. She wants to give me her hair sheep that she's done with. I'm like,
Yeah.
because I've got all the land. I'm like, well, shoot. But I know they're going to take a lot of my time because I
I'd
don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, I'd be inclined if you do that, just forego the garden. Don't worry
Exactly. And
about
that's
this
kind of
year,
where I vacillate back and forth. It's like, do I really want the good? I really do want to do the garden, but like, I also don't want to get the hair sheep. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Haven't
What
settled yet.
what you could do this year is put down cardboard, put down amendments, put
Yep.
down cardboard, and then cover it in wood chips, and then you're gonna have an amazing bed for next year,
Sure. Absolutely.
not struggle with the major issues that you would have this year growing anyways.
Right.
And yeah, and just be more prepared for next year. But man,
Very.
I personally, I'd be all about the sheep. Um, but I eat more meat than others.
So okay, so like, so one of the things I was looking at was garden design. Like, what do I want it to look like? Because
Mhm.
functionality and I want it to look nice. Hey mom, um, so like you're doing fairly rectangular beds. What are your like
So
aesthetic?
I've got a bit of a slope.
Yeah,
So
you
to
do.
do it the way I do it, I put in basically log terraces. So
Okay,
they're fairly small terraces, fairly close to each other. And then I did here in Tennessee, because we have all the creeping grasses and rhizomial stuff that pushes in, I want to
yeah,
minimize the edge as much as possible. So I do as close to a square as I can,
sure.
and then I get the least geometrically, I get the least amount of edge that
Surface
I have
area
to
for that.
maintain.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yep, and
makes
I
good
prefer
sense.
in-ground gardening anytime I can.
Oh yeah, sure, definitely.
But raised beds, like you were talking about, those can be great too. And there's some things you can do to really increase your production, reduce your watering. So you can dig out underneath where they're going to go,
Hmm.
save that soil to the side,
Okay,
put like small logs, wood chips, pack them in really tight down in
right.
the soil in that cavity, and then start backfilling the soil, and then put maybe some soil that you bought on top of
So
that.
then, oh okay, yeah,
Mhm. So then you can fill out your boxes for a lot less, and the wood, what do they call it? Wood core beds will absorb and hold a lot
water.
more water. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So
and
Jared's
fruits
mom
and
says
veggies.
she's gonna grow some perennial fruit and veggies. Oh, that's what she's telling you to do.
That's why she wants
Um,
me. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Those anytime you can do perennials, that's a really great option. But
it is.
the other thing about the beds is, I know a lot of people are using like the inexpensive metal raised beds that you can get because they have those
Hmm.
cross ties already to keep them
Oh
from
yeah,
going out.
right.
And if you keep an eye out, you can get two 4x8x2 beds for it's like $150,
Okay,
and they seem to last quite a while. They're not going to be quite as good a metal as the place down the road has,
sure.
but from what I've seen, I've got friends with ones that were put in 3 years ago. They still look brand new.
Oh wow, well, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Wow,
yeah.
cool,
So maybe when we're done here, I'll throw a link in the YouTube notes so people
there we
can
go.
go and find those. Um, yeah,
Nice. So depending on where everybody's at, they've got basic idea what kind of plants they want to grow, what kind of garden layout they want. So now's about the time to start our seedlings,
yes. So generally, at least in Tennessee, Zone 7,
right?
the general recommendation for starting seedlings is somewhere within a week or two of Valentine's Day,
Oh, good
I
rule of thumb.
believe.
Like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially things that have to grow out longer. Um, Anything that I can direct seed, I feel like establishes better and grows better. Um,
And direct seed means
that means putting the seed in the ground as opposed
oh,
to starting
instead
a
of
seedling.
okay, gotcha.
Yep. So let's say I'm gonna grow Tromponcino squash. I could put all the time into a seedling and, plant that later. Or if I plant a seed, I'll get pretty much the same production, but it'll grow faster and more vigorously. It'll just start a little bit later.
Oh, huh. Okay.
Yep. And the other benefit to that is, with squash, if you start them a bit later, you can actually avoid the squash vine borer. So,
Oh, cool.
yep.
That's
Yeah,
good
there's
to
a,
know.
but in that also, if people are trying to avoid squash vine borer, using some variety of a butternut is going to be a lot more resistant than the other squash. So a
Hmm,
Tromponcino is a variety of the butternut that's just a longer, skinnier version, essentially.
gotcha. Sure.
Yep. So yeah, starting seedlings, probably right about now, at least for our area.
Right.
If you get north further, just you know,
Give it
do you
another couple weeks.
yeah, give it another couple weeks. Do your research. It's pretty easy to find starting times for seedlings online for your given zone.
Right.
Um,
How much do you see like the microclimates coming into play as far as timing of planting things?
uh,
Harvest, I've seen a little bit more of an impact on harvest side, but on planting, does it really make as much a difference?
to me, no, unless you're kind of pushing the frost dates already.
Yeah, more
So then
extreme.
if if you've got kind of a cold pocket, which you should
Mhm.
try to avoid with your gardens, but sometimes you
Yeah,
can't.
right.
Um, so if you're like at the very bottom of a valley where that cold air sits,
And it just
um,
settles down into that and holds. Yeah.
yeah, you might want to hold off just a little longer and be a little more patient about when you put the seedlings in.
Yeah, it's funny, like, when I'm riding my motorcycle, I know exactly where all the water is because it gets cold. Drop down
Yeah,
those little valves, and they're just like there's flowing water or not even flowing water. It's just cold. It's like, yeah,
that's
makes a big
interesting
difference.
because we've insulated ourselves from like the natural systems by having air conditioning in our cars.
Right?
That's
Ride a
kind of a cool
motorcycle.
one.
You'll know.
Well, and then your brain puts together the observations, right?
Yeah,
So now
right.
you go, "Oh, it's colder every time I go down into a valley." Um, so then you just adapt those understandings and becomes natural because your brain just does it. But
Yeah. You don't even really think about it until yeah.
yep. Yeah, another thing I wanna do, or I've been doing this time of year is adding amendments. So whether that's,
pH
compost that
or
I've
yeah.
made
Okay.
or, and we'll talk a little more about this, but soil tests, making some of the adjustments to the soil so that everything's ready to go,
Sure.
and just pop when temperatures get a little warmer, and when the
So do you
days get
like use a
longer.
spreadsheet or something to lay all this out ahead of time so that because I mean certain plants need to be planted at certain times or certain pHs or whatever.
Yeah, there are really great, I should pull it up. I don't know. It'd take a
Hmm,
minute, but there's really great planting guides that will give you that they're already laid out on a calendar. And so
nice.
for your area, you just type in, planting guide for Nashville or planting
Sure.
guide for Cincinnati or whatever it is. And you'll find at least something. I'd usually just use a local large city
Mm, mhm.
that's analogous to where you are, and you'll find a kind of a planting map in time frame that's already lined out. So that's easy to follow, and then you don't have to make it yourself.
Sure. I've seen some pretty cool apps that you can pick your location and what plants you're planting, and it'll give you a lot of that kind of information.
Yeah, absolutely. I think let's see. Rocky Pines, Vic
Yeah,
is weighing in here.
he's on it.
Mother Earth News has a really cool gardening planner. Yeah, that's worth
Nice.
checking out.
Heck yeah.
But I wouldn't support them anymore because they're kind of nutso.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've had a lot of friends, basically
Oh.
get banned from
Oh.
speaking
Oh,
'cause
no.
they didn't wanna follow certain guidelines for certain, colds.
Topics?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, right.
If you wanna support them, that's fine, but
How?
they've gotten a little
6
militant.
years later, how is that still a That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're anyways. But yeah, it's they probably have a good app. There's lots of good apps out there if you like using apps. There's also just spreadsheets or kind of pre-made pictures that are easy to find from gardening
Right.
sites.
Yeah, I know we've got a somebody nearby. He has a mushroom, some type of compost, something that's
Yep.
supposed to be my uncle uses it. He says it's phenomenal. Like everything just grows. Everything grows.
Yep.
Good or
So
bad.
I've used that one locally and it
Okay.
can be really good. There's a couple of caveats. One is sometimes it comes when it's still baking, it's still hot.
Oh yeah, sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
So I've had people
Because
use it and had everything die off. Um,
it's too hot.
yes.
Oh
So my
no.
personal preference is order it early, let
Sure.
it sit, put cardboard down, have them dump it on cardboard so you don't get a bunch of grasses in there, and let it sit for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. And
That
just
makes
make sure it's, reach your hand way in there. Once it's cooled down enough, then put it out on your garden.
that
Um,
does make sense.
yeah. Jared's mom
A
says,
slide
I have a
rule.
slide rule type seed starting guide. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's
Heck
it's
yes.
like a it's like a Gantt chart, I guess, is what you'd call it in industries we're used to.
Sure.
So it's like a seed starting Gantt chart or a planting Gantt chart. Um, so yeah, those are great. Another thing that you'll probably want to start thinking about is getting your irrigation set up and tested.
Oh,
So if you got water caught in the lines or something and it froze and broke, you want to know that before you start
yes.
your systems.
Yes, especially because we've this year wasn't too bad. Last year we had some cold,
Yeah.
and and the year before, I guess, huh? Yeah, it's been a couple really bad years.
Well, we had the 2 weeks of like teens and single digits, which everybody up north is laughing about.
I know, right? Like, well, what
But
else?
we don't build our systems for long term or deep
Right.
cold.
No,
Um,
no, none of
and
our infrastructure is set up for this.
right. So if you're in Wisconsin and you're, you're going
Yeah,
to
you
put
got
your
hard lines. You're not worried about it. We've got buried pecs
right. Yep. Yeah. A lot of
or
people have
PVC.
their lines are like that far under the ground and
Yes, right.
yeah. So anyways, test your irrigation lines, blow them out, make sure there isn't junk in them,
Yep.
and then just test for leaks.
Mm-hmm. Check all the
Uh,
ball valves. Check any electro solenoids that you got for controls. I had to
yep.
replace my battery on my. We'll get to wire, fencing, but I had my hot wire on my fence died.
Okay.
Had to get a new battery.
I'm a big fan of a company called YoLink. They make long distance or
Shouldn't
long range
Yeah,
devices.
I need to
Uh,
look into them because I have a
yeah.
Tractor Supply special. It's not a nothing fancy.
Oh, as far as the fence charger, my
Yeah.
favorite is it's called Cyclops.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah. And they're expensive, but they're a local, really well engineered, like simple engineered,
Yeah.
not like an Audi,
Overly
right?
complicated. Yeah.
It's like a mid 2000s Honda,
Dang.
not like an uh
Audi or
the
Volkswagen
engineering,
or yeah.
yeah, where they took as much of the complicated stuff out. So if you pull one open and look at the circuit board, it's like a couple of really big beefy capacitors and just a couple
Op
of
amp
other
and
little
done.
things. Yeah, and that's it. But yeah, Cyclops, if people are interested, I have no affiliation with them, but they make amazing fence chargers. Little pricey, but they also build them with fuses on both sides and they send
That's
with
interesting.
extra fuses.
Oh, novel
So
concept.
yeah, and you can take it fully apart. They don't, you can send it in for repairs. They're a really good company. I'll get off
Nice.
my soapbox though. But the reason I was mentioning YoLink as far as like device control
Mm,
or control devices
right.
is they now have a couple of different sprinkler control devices. And
Cool.
so either inline, like an inline hose connector that you can put it a quarter mile away from your house and it still responds properly. And
Wow.
you can set it up to turn on or off depending on what the weather is, things like that. So,
So it's not
um,
just a timer, it's actually smart enough to you can hook up a what the hydrometers or whatever moisture meter is.
Yeah, it's fully if this then that compatible.
Yay, perfect.
So you can tell it to do
Piece of
whatever
logic.
you want it to do. Based on a weather app, based on hydrometers or, you know,
Very cool.
thermometers or whatever. So yeah. Yep.
Sure. Noise.
YouTube doesn't, we're being told
Uh-oh.
YouTube doesn't like to show all the chats.
Oh,
Oh,
probably
that's,
some of the Facebook chats not coming across.
yeah, it could be. Anyways,
There's a bot I can put on this that'll force it to go across, but that's kind of annoying. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, and followed us, do that because Facebook and YouTube hate us and they are squashing this like crazy. It's
yep.
ridiculous. It won't like it won't share anything. Like even though I posted this yesterday and Meg asked, she's like, "Hey, I want to share it. Where did you post it?" I'm like, "It's on my page. Why?" She's like, "It's not there. It's gone.
Yep.
I'd shared it to different groups. Nope, gone."
Yeah. I mean, it's inside baseball and I don't want to whine, but YouTube has squashed my channel bad.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So yeah.
We are
Anyways,
too
anything
different.
else about gardening
Oh, I'm
think
sure
we
we'll
should
come
cover?
back to something or another, but I think it pretty much covers all. I mean, if anybody has in the comments has any other further thoughts on gardening, just bring it up. We'll double back to it.
Yeah, we'll jump
Um,
back.
Orchards, yeah, I definitely want. I saw that on your list, and I wish we had. Oh shoot, Carrie.
Yes. Yeah, Carrie
Yes,
Brown.
that boy. He was so. Oh my gosh, that man knows so much. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I just sat here. I was just like, I'm just gonna shut up. I'm just gonna listen. I'll just
Yeah,
interrupt. I'm not.
Carrie's super knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And then we had Tim. He was the one who did the orchards. So
And
Carrie,
Tim,
yeah,
it was the other one.
yeah, Tim Riley is the orchardist.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, tons of cool information from him. I got
Dude,
some
right.
apple varieties I want to try after talking with him.
Heck yeah. So yeah,
So
so what kind of trees you have is now's the time to really start pruning and what was the other term he used? Coppicing. Is that right?
yeah, well, there's pollarding and coppicing.
Pollarding.
That's a little bit different than pruning, but
Okay.
yeah, it's
See how much
we're
I
getting
learned.
to the point where pruning is a little bit late because sap's starting to flow.
Sure.
But for some varieties of trees, it's still acceptable. Um, and even interestingly, with apples, there's a lot of people who actually prune their apples during the summer and some other plants. I've got to look into this a little
Really?
more. It's not my expertise, but yeah, you know how apples get all the they're called water spouts or the new shoots coming off
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, the little
Um,
runner things that pop up.
Yep. What happens is if you prune them in the winter, they basically go, "Hey, a bunch of my branches are missing," and so they put a bunch of energy into shooting up new spouts instead
Oh.
of
Oh
fruiting.
no. So
So,
you don't do it until later.
well, yeah, it depends on your strategy, and there's a lot of argumentation in the industry
I
about what's best.
always.
But I do believe that there is appropriate times to prune during the summer, especially those they call them water spouts. It's the new first year growth.
Mhm.
Pruning some of that off during the summer rather than waiting till the winter. You do want to wait at least past the sap run. So as once it's fully leafed out, you don't do it
During.
super early or anything.
Sure. Okay. Huh, that's interesting.
Yep. Berries you can still prune, basically until they leaf out. You can prune up berry bushes and things. Um, I like to do so there's a term called dormant sprays, and
Okay.
it's a generic term. So there's a lot of different variants of it, but the idea is it's a spray that you use while the tree is dormant to address fungal or pest issues before they become a problem.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yep. So dormant sprays, you can get some great organic or other, non-toxic sprays, and you can treat for things like mites that are in it or in the tree or other things to kill them off so that they don't reemerge later in the year.
Sure.
That
Yeah.
that makes a huge difference instead of trying to address the problem once it's a problem.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So yeah, there's as far as sprays are concerned, there's a ton of information to dig through. I can't give specific recommendations because everybody's situation is a little different, but
Sure.
yeah, thinking about dormant sprays is important. Thinking about soil testing and amendments is really important here.
Do you
Um,
send off your soil for testing, or do you have like a some kind of at home test?
yeah, I send it off. The company I use is called Logan Labs.
Okay.
And so most people will send it to the USDA or NRCS or whatever for
Sure.
testing. What you'll get back is what they think you should add to the soil, not the
Okay.
actual levels or any other information.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So what Logan Labs does is instead of interpreting the data for you, they just give you the data.
This is what is there.
Yes, exactly. Now, the issue is part of the issue is that you can see what's there, and you might have a ton of calcium, but it might be locked up because your pH is wrong, or fill in the
Okay.
blank. There's
Sure.
all these different things that can happen. If you're okay with a chat bot using Chat GPT or Gemini or whatever else,
Right.
you can actually throw your test results from Logan Labs into that and say, I want to treat this regeneratively. If I need to spray or do some type or well, with soil treatments, if I need to adjust things, I want to do it in a way that is not based on conventional fertilizers.
Sure.
And you can walk it through basically making a full plan for your amendments that you need.
Nice.
And I've done it on multiple occasions, and it's come out with really great answers, even caught a few things that I didn't necessarily catch. Um, so overall, I've been really happy with the results of those two things combined. Uh,
Sweet.
and Logan Labs costs about the same amount as doing it through the USDA.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And
That was my next question.
yeah, I think it's $35 a sample, which is very reasonable.
Yeah.
The other thing I like to tell people is if your soil is bad, there's a good chance it's because somebody already followed the USDA recommendations.
Ah, the irony.
Yeah. So don't go further down that road. Just
Right.
cut them out entirely. And in fact, I really started digging into this because I had planted an orchard where I thought it was going to do really well.
Mm.
And it's at a demonstration site out in Hartsville.
Mm. Mhm.
And some of the trees, like the pear trees, went crazy, but the apple and peach trees just they're basically barely growing. At least,
Oh, no.
yeah. And so I did a swale there, a mini swale, and started adding ash because I knew the pH was low
Sure.
or it was acidic. But I sent soil samples in, or had the property owner send soil samples in this winter, and I got them back, and I realized that things were so far off that basic amendments weren't going to
We're
cut
gonna
it.
do it.
And it
Okay.
was because somebody had been putting um, just a generic fertilizer on the property for so long to cut hay that
Oh.
the phosphorus was like absolutely through the roof,
Oh,
and the
no.
pH was down in the like low fives.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I guess we
no.
could we could grow a lot of blueberries.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Yeah, that's true.
but it meant that we needed to have a little bit heavier hand on correcting those issues to get those trees back up and going again. And
Sure.
that will resolve a lot of the disease and growth issues of, we're having small apples and
Sure.
not as much fruit body. Like there were issues that we were able to correct now because we got the soil samples done earlier in the winter.
What's their turnaround time for samples?
I think it's a couple of weeks.
Oh,
Seems
it's
to
not too
be the
bad. Okay.
no, no. So and the data they give you is really helpful. It really is
Sounds like it.
invaluable. Yeah. It's
Mm.
pretty cool on the garden that we started in, I think it was 2021.
Yeah.
We went from, I think it was well less than 1% organic matter, now has like 9.8% organic matter in that
Wow.
garden. So, and it did adjust the pH, but that's because we're doing all these things in a small space. So now the pH and the organic matter is crazy in that garden. but the
Sure.
phosphorus is still way too high, so we needed to do something to adjust that still a bit.
Hmm.
So even where you can add all kinds of amazing amendments, if you don't have a soil test, there might be something that's throwing things off a bit.
Yeah, that you're completely unaware of. Yeah.
Yeah. So the people who are like, well, you just, let nature do its thing, I largely agree. But knowing if there's something that's far enough off that it's just throwing the entire thing off balance is
Sure. Well, if you're coming
probably
on the heels of somebody who has modified it, it's not letting nature do. I mean, it
right.
will eventually, but like it could be a while.
Yeah, exactly. And like letting nature take its course on this property would essentially be letting forest or prairie fires burn
Yeah.
repetitively
Yeah. Which
until
is
that ash
exactly.
accumulates.
That's where we get all the accumulation of ash and pH adjusts. And yeah.
Vic says he likely
Oh,
has 0.01 organic matter. Might be a little higher than that, but I can imagine it's pretty low with the sandy soils you have.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
That, that
soil
is.
test, mulch. Yeah, so mulch is kind of the next thing I would do
Sure.
in an orchard is that's going to help with multiple things, both organic matter around the trees as
Water
well as moisture.
retention and yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, yes.
So,
Mom would point out, yes, check all your pruners, clippers, and gardening tools, oil them, sharpen them, because if you go to clip something and you just squish it, it's not going to be healthy.
additionally, keep isopropyl alcohol on hand
Mm,
and some wipes, or you
yeah.
can get alcohol wipes
Yes.
and wipe down your pruners before each plant.
Oh, between plants, you mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Because you could spread fire blight or something else that, you know, so when you're going from plant to plant, spray them down, wipe them down. It'll make a big difference in plant health.
Sure.
Sterilization. It's like washing your hands as a surgeon.
I mean, yes. I mean,
Important.
functionally, that's what you're doing. Yeah.
Yep. So anything else you have on orchards and perennials?
Um, I want to know more about them, but no, we're good. I've got
Well,
that
in
whole
the
hillside. It's like that was my whole intent. It's like I want
yeah,
this hillside to just be, trees. I want nuts and fruits yeah,
yeah, you'll get there.
I know.
Yeah, it'd be beautiful and amazing with swales and nut trees and
Oh
all
yeah,
the stuff. Yep.
that'd be awesome.
Well, the livestock systems, which I hopefully you'll be looking at soon.
Yes,
Um, that's something that people need to take the time now. And now that it's warming up, it's a little more pleasant to be outside.
right.
Um, doing things like starting to look at your fences and
Hmm.
gates. Um,
Yeah, because like in my field, I've got two sides that are hot and then two sides that are barbed. And I've walked to the hot side. I haven't walked the barbed side yet because it's through the weeds, and I don't want to walk through the weeds.
right. Well, and it's a great time though because you don't things haven't leafed out yet,
Right.
so you can see better.
Very
Um,
much so.
if you need to get some type of cutting device in there, it's going to be a lot easier than if you wait for another month. Um,
Yeah, because when it springs, it springs. It springs
mhm,
hard.
yep.
Everything just goes poof.
I found this really great tool that would be
Flamethrower?
great for what's that?
A flamethrower? Just roast it all.
There you go. I mean, that's one option. No, it's a pruner on a stick, like okay, so imagine the hand pruners
Yeah.
in the screen here, the hand pruners, and then electrify that so it's battery powered,
So shink,
makes it
shink, shink,
nicer,
shink,
right?
shink.
Yep.
Nice. On a long stick.
On a long stick.
Sweet.
Yes. So you
I'm
get
liking
all
this.
all those things combined.
I
So
like
now
it.
if you're going along a fence line and you've got like some things you want to prune out,
Mm,
just stick that in there 10 feet out, go
right.
out, stay out of the brambles yourself and start cutting away. And it works great.
Oh yeah, because especially on the north side of my property, I've got lots of the neighbors' trees that grow in and through, and the cows love to like mess with them, and they push over the poles and the fence, and the barbs are off there. So to be able to reach up there and clip some of those would be great.
Yeah. Well, and then to be able to clear it out a little bit, maybe run one hot line,
Yeah,
stuck out a little bit with
yeah,
insulators from that
that would
barbed
be really
wire
cool. That would be really
would be
really cool.
helpful. But yeah, I guess it's free food from your neighbors though.
That's true.
Cut it if you left the stuff that was up high and kinda hanging over, that
Mm-hmm.
the animals couldn't quite reach, you could go by and cut it a couple times a year as extra feed for
That's
them.
right.
Tree hay.
Heck yeah, right. So yeah, we kind of talked about the checking an electric fence. Yeah, I went out there and I want to say Rowan had climbed under the fence or something like that, and I'd warned him like, "Hey, watch it. That's a hot." And he's like, he like touches it, and he's like, "No, it's not." Like, good to know.
Yeah,
Let's
good
fix
to know.
that.
Mhm.
Shoot, glad I don't have any cows in there right now. Although I have to say that the cows, though, so we had 6 cows running that field. They did such a good job. They were so chill. They did not push the fences. They didn't fuss with anything. They were really good. So
Yeah, cows, if you don't have a bull, they're usually pretty good,
yeah.
and if they have enough to eat, and 6 cows could go a long time on that
Oh
pasture
yeah. I
pretty
mean, yeah,
easily.
we had 6 acres, 6 cows. Yeah, that they were pretty happy.
Yeah. Well, and they had some, kudzu to eat too, so
They
there's
did,
always
and
protein.
they did a great job with that.
Yep. The sheep will too if you get sheep.
That's the whole yeah. Turning kudzu into meat. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see a
E
downside to this.
either that or vodka.
Either
We've
way.
talked about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so the other thing with electric fences is now is a great time to take if you've got, like, one of those walk behind string trimmers or a
Yeah.
string trimmer in general, go and clear things out, and the more you keep it clear, the easier it's going to be to keep it clear.
Yep.
So if you start now, get it nice and cleared out before things start growing, you'll have a
Mhm.
jump start on keeping it that way.
For sure. I feel like that's kind of a lot of what we're talking about is just get if you get a head start on it, it really does make everything so much easier.
Yep. Well, and so for us, it's kind of rainy season.
Yeah.
We've just started into the rainy season. So something people should probably think about is like, well, this would be true on your pasture. If you've got that lower wet pasture
Oh, yeah, right.
and you're doing rotational grazing where the animals are kind of confined and need to be confined,
Yeah.
then you need to think about moving them up a bit to keep them out of that swampy area.
Yeah. Well, they'll tear it up real fast. It gets so soft down there that even just them walking through just rips it up shreds.
Yep. And they're more likely to get hoof diseases and other
Oh yeah,
stuff
because they're
like that.
staying in that moist environment. It's yeah.
Yep.
Not bueno.
Nope. Now is a good time to clean out shelters. So
Yeah.
if you've got,
Yeah, you got all that old hay that's been sitting in there overwintering, turning to mold.
exactly.
Nastiness.
And depending on what condition it's in and how hot it is, things like that, you could be using this to fill up raised beds
Yeah.
or, put down in your case, it could be, that first layer for your garden that you're going to leave for a while could
Yep.
be your amendment under the cardboard, then wood chips. Leave it for a year and you're going to have an amazing garden to start with next year.
Right.
So, so yeah, you should stack everything. If you're cleaning out your shelters,
Use
move
it.
it once if you can and
Right.
use it for something useful.
Absolutely.
Um, check waters,
Mm,
after some of the hard freezes, make sure that
right.
waters are working properly. Um,
How'd
this time,
your chickens
what?
do through the cold?
They did fine. My water system, it freezes and thaws and doesn't hurt it.
Good.
But we have to bring out pails of water. We just bring out a pail of warm water once or
And
twice a day for them.
yeah, sure. Makes sense.
Yep. But I use a 55-gallon drum with they're like a little watering cups where they have to stick their head in
Oh
and
yeah.
push a nipple.
Stays a lot cleaner.
Yes, stays a lot cleaner, way better with ducks and geese that we have now. They still make a mess, but
Oh
they
yeah.
can't get nearly as much water. So they
Oh, they
don't.
don't fling it around all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. But the 55-gallon drum lasts a couple of months every time you fill it.
Oh yeah, sure.
So
Well,
it's
and then
perfect.
you could have your roof line drain into it and keep it topped off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. And
Does it?
it all works well. The only issue is that when it gets cold, those water cups freeze.
Oh,
They're
sure.
exposed.
Yep.
I've never
And
had
there's
them
not a
crack.
lot of mass to them, so yeah.
Right. And so inside that 55-gallon drum, after the like inch layer of ice, it stays thawed the entire time because it just doesn't freeze all the way through here. because that ice becomes insulation.
Yeah.
Uh, but the chickens can't get the water, so we have to bring some out for a while.
Sure. Sure.
But 2 weeks out of the year isn't too bad.
No, not at all.
See, yeah. So most people in the spring, if you do chickens, a lot of people will be brooding out new chicks. So
Sure.
making sure your brooder or young chick setup is already there.
Are you
We always,
doing meat birds again this year?
oh yeah, we almost always do at least 2 rounds.
Nice.
And by we, I mean my friend out in Hartsville
Okay.
largely does the brooding and runs them. And I used to do the processing. Now I've found a great processor up in Crossville that
Nice.
processes them for like 350 a bird or 450 a bird.
Oh,
And
wow.
like I
Wow.
cannot justify processing them.
No, that's
He
awesome.
trained under Joel Salatin, so he does it right.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
I'm like, I'm pretty much hands off with this, so I
Right?
gotta find some other way to, because that was my contribution. So now I gotta figure out figure out what my part of this is gonna be. But if people want to use them, I think they're called Crossville Acres.
Oh,
So
okay. Right
really
on.
great family, great service. They do a really good job. If you need pretty much anything, I think, except maybe cattle
Oh, okay.
processed, they'll
So,
do it.
did they go through like the all USDA approval and all that and stuff, or they're just
No,
okay?
no. So they can do. I don't remember what the exact laws are, but I think if it's your own meat that you're keeping, they can process it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
if you want to
Not
sell
for
it that it
sale.
has to be USDA.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've got
Yep.
somebody just outside Sparta. I want to say that's got the USDA, or he was working on his USDA for cattle. I think
Is
he could
that
do everything else.
the underground butcher?
Yeah,
Okay. Yep. They do a good job, but obviously if you're getting USDA, that drives the price way up.
way up. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
So
process is that they are required to do is extensive.
yep. Yeah. And so the way to get around that, if you want to sell meat to people, is you have to sell them the whole animal.
Oh,
And then the person is responsible for the
Ooh,
processing price.
nice,
So
nice.
you
So yeah,
can,
I just bought an eighth of a cow a couple weeks ago, and
Mhm.
that's what we did. Was we were he dropped it off at the butchers and processors, and we selected what cuts we wanted, and we did all
Yeah.
that ourselves. So
Yeah. You pay the processor.
yep,
Yeah. So if people want to get around it, that's one way. There's always some, status jujitsu that you can do to
right.
get around whatever the rules are, and still be legal and all that.
Yep. So I was in the military and in the healthcare environment. I discovered that if I knew the rules better than administrations did, I could get away with whatever I wanted to.
Hmm. Yep.
I could find a rule. I could figure out a way of getting around. They
That's the thing,
hated
is
me.
most regulations are written with the intention of somebody
Subversion.
getting around the actual law for the purposes they want. So if you know them really well,
Yeah,
you can oftentimes subvert that as well. So
very much so.
and most people don't have the time or the understanding to do that. So
Yes, yeah, yeah. So taxes, same thing. Like
mhm.
if you really know the tax law, it's somebody told me it's 70,000 pages of tax law, but only like 7 pages actually pertain to paying. The rest of
Mhm.
it's how to get away with not paying.
Right. Yeah, it's something like 95% plus
Yeah,
is what are the exceptions to
the
the
exceptions. So if
rules
we
that you're supposed to
exploit the
follow.
exceptions,
Yep. Yeah,
and
if you
all
know it
all the
well.
systems are all that way, like in healthcare and in everything,
Yep.
USDA.
Yeah, everything's set up so that the average person isn't going to have the knowledge to bypass the things that are intended to be bypassed by the people who wrote the
Yeah, right.
the
Well, and that's one of the
lobbyists
reasons
who wrote the law.
that having community, having this is really important because there's I might know this little piece and that little piece, and together we can put all these pieces together. Oh, hey, we can do this now.
Yeah, there's a guy named Matt Sersley who
Hmm.
runs a business he calls the Agorist Tax Advice Service. And the idea
Okay.
is he's doing everything by the book, but he's one of those like uh photographic memory, likes
Okay.
to read code kind of like, and so he's gone through everything and basically you can reach out to him about your business or, even your personal taxes and go, hey, is this a reasonable idea? Sanity check
Right.
me. And if
Sure.
not, how can I do what I'm wanting to do or something similar legally?
Right.
Um, so yeah, community is great. And he's a truly good guy. I've hung out with him a bit and he just wants to help people, but he knows the national tax law really well. He's an
Nice.
actual lawyer. He's
Oh,
a
oh,
um so he's
perfect.
not gonna tell you to do something stupid.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and I help people with that sometimes too. I'm like, well, here's what's allowable,
Oh,
and
yeah.
here's here's how you do that. Here's how you work around that. And food processing is one of those things where if you know a little bit, you can skirt some of that stuff.
Sure. Which is good.
Yep. So um I think pasture and field readiness, kind of getting everything squared away for
Yeah.
the summer is really important.
Sure.
Um, we talked about soil testing already.
Right.
That's important in your field as well. A lot of people, like what I said, there's people have been fertilizing to get hay to pop up every year.
Right.
Um, Oftentimes, either not doing a soil test or doing a soil test through the USDA, getting bad advice, putting down blanket fertilizer, and basically destroying
Yeah.
the soil web.
Oh, I remember when you walked my back 40 with me,
Mhm.
like, the first thing you saw is you saw what was growing, you're like, you're gonna need to amend this soil, like,
Yep.
this is not right."
Yeah. Yeah, what you'll see is like an overgrowth of certain forbs
Yeah.
and browse and patchy grass, or you'll see these big kind of clumps in between them that are just bare soil.
Yes. That's
Um,
yeah.
yeah. And then you'll see the larger leafy plants kind of spreading out low with large leaves. And that's a pretty dead giveaway that something's way off.
Definitely. Yep. That was my back 40.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the time. Yeah, I replaced the starter and the battery on my tractor, and now it's sat for, like, 3 months, and I'm sure that battery's probably dead as a doornail.
Oh, you need to get one of those little
The
solar
solar
charger.
charge. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was on my list of things to do.
Yeah. This is actually my friend Kate, who's out in
Oh,
Hartsville.
right
So
on. Okay.
yeah, she's getting ready for some cool stuff. I don't know how much I want to say on a live stream, but she's
Ooh,
preparing to be ready for basically new business. So she's doing
sweet.
hip camp, and we're going to be doing all kinds of classes and workshops and stuff. So keep an eye out
Awesome.
for that
Right
on the
on.
socials.
Very,
It
very
says, "Hey,
cool.
Jared."
Hey,
Um,
good to meet you.
yeah, glad she's on. But yeah, she's got all kinds of cool stuff. The place is called Love Farm. My original channel
Yeah,
was the Love Farm, and it was just me kind of documenting what we were working on before I started my business as the homestead consultant. So she's kind of my first. Her and one other person were like my first clients.
right.
It got me thinking about, hey, I could do this as a business.
That's sweet.
So we've been friends for quite a while now.
That is super cool.
Yeah. And soil testing, that
Mhm.
was one of the things I was talking about. Is at her property where
Mm,
haying a field for a long time really caused the damage that needed more addressing.
right.
And this is definitely a good time to do it because you're just all the soil microbes and things are just starting to really wake up and take off.
Sure, sure.
Um, Overseeding in your pasture or anywhere, it's a good time to do that for spring summer crops or spring and summer
Oh, okay.
overseeding.
I was wondering what you meant by overseeding.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's where you're going to be putting seeds down to, maybe it's going to be clover or vetch or something like that, where you're going to be trying to help the nitrogen cycle,
Right.
or other plants for that matter. But basically, it's the
Just not
time
good
of
soup.
year. Yeah, so you can do this in the late fall for the purpose of kind of like a winter cover crop,
Yeah.
or you can do it in the spring for the purpose of better vegetation, better nitrogen cycles, things like that. So it really depends on what your purposes are. But spring is a great time to overseed. And if you do it, I this isn't always possible, but if you have the equipment, you can do drill seeding.
Oh, yeah.
And typically there's organizations or even the farmers co-op, like the co-ops that are common here in the South, you can rent drill seeders or borrow drill seeders from. Sometimes there's a Cumberland River Compact in our area.
Mhm.
They're a nonprofit organization that actually bought a drill seeder so that farmers can use that basically to reduce runoff and erosion.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways of getting drill seeders,
A
and those will just
community.
yeah, exactly. And those will really up your uh, success rate of the
Oh,
seeds. They
yeah.
don't get washed away, birds don't eat them, things like that.
I bet.
And then you don't have to till as well.
Ooh, good point.
Yep.
That's nice. Like
But
it.
like Kate was saying, equipment readiness.
Mhm.
Um, so just making sure your tractor's up and running. Um,
I'll get on it.
great time to grease all the grease points on
Yes,
your
yes.
equipment because it's starting to get warm enough that the grease actually moves
We'll move,
as
yeah.
you smell it.
It's not
Um,
frozen.
but you don't need your equipment at least in a major way yet. So it's a great time to hit all the grease points, do oil changes, things like that. Well, the equipment isn't in full use.
Sure, sure.
So, any other thoughts on kind of pasture and field readiness?
Not really. I was just thinking about, like, small engines from there, like, your weed eaters and your, chainsaws and whatever else that, now's a good time to do a checkup on oil change on all of those.
Yeah,
Kids' go-karts even, like, whatever. It's you know,
that's right. No, I noticed. So we had the snow for a little bit, and we've got a go kart that has these ridiculously knobby giant back tires. I'm like, I think we could drive this in the snow.
Oh,
We're,
yeah.
we're gonna pull a sled behind it, and I got it. I got it started, and then my daughter pushed the gas pedal, and I like just we're just kind of testing it, getting it
Uh-huh.
warmed up.
You go, "Papa."
And I no, I'm in front of the thing, and she takes her foot off, and it doesn't stop.
Oh, no. Oh,
She ends up hitting me, not obviously not because of
yeah, right.
her being dumb. It was the line for the gas pedal had ice
Stuck.
in it,
Yeah, sure.
and it stuck. But anyways, just a anecdote from our winter. So we
That's
never
funny.
got to drive around with a sled behind the
Aw.
go-kart. Maybe next year.
I had a similar experience when I was a kid. My uncle got his motorcycle going and tied a inner tube to it and drug me around his field and was, like, popping the inner tube over these jumps, and one of the jumps that or what he thought was a jump wasn't a jump, it was a stick that
Oh,
was
no.
poking towards me, so, the stick went through the inner tube and then, like, right up my spine, like, just ripped all the skin right up my spine.
Oh, no,
I
that could
was
have been a
done
lot
after that.
worse, but yeah,
Yeah, no, it
man.
could have impaled me. It wouldn't been the first time I've been impaled, but, yeah, no, it was pretty bad, so, yeah, I've winter, fun is yes.
So growing up in Wisconsin, we had a like imagine a property about the size of yours, really similar in a lot of ways,
Oh,
but
okay.
not quite as sloped, about half the amount of slope.
Nice.
And my dad is a mechanic and he would periodically get vehicles for basically nothing. And
Sure.
one of the vehicles he got was one of the like mid 80s four-wheel drive Subarus.
Yes.
And it was not roadworthy. He like welded the axle back together or something like that. So,
Perfect.
and it was, it's manual, it's stick
Oh, yeah.
shift. And I think I was maybe 8 when we got it. So I learned how to drive a stick sitting on a phone book, which nobody has
Perfect.
anymore.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
just like, cause I was a
That's
little
old.
kid. So I was like on a phone book just to see over the dash.
Right.
Um, anyways, since it was four-wheel drive, we could drive it in the winter and we had this big open field.
Right?
So my brother and I ended up, we had, it was a giant bowl, galvanized steel bowl, and it was intended to be like a feed cover for an old small silo kind of thing.
Oh, oh. Oh, cool.
So that got tied, we flipped it upside down,
Right.
tied it about 20 feet behind the car. And
No frictional
that
coefficient. It just
pretty much. And it was just like tubing behind a boat where you go around a corner and the thing
and it goes,
puts
wee.
out and it's going like twice the speed of what it's attached to.
Oh yeah.
So we had so much fun with that. And the crazy thing is this bowl had like sharp edges.
Ooh.
So we're probably very fortunate that we still have all our fingers, but
Yeah.
man, we had fun with that.
Oh, the good old times.
Yep. But I was trying to replicate that with the kids with a sled and a go-kart in a little bit safer way.
Yeah.
Not the safety's everything. It's safety
No.
third, right?
It's right. That's right. Safety third.
Yeah, if people
Mm.
haven't seen that, go look up, what is it, Mike, what's his last name? The Dirty Jobs guy, Mike Rowe.
Yeah. Row. Yeah.
Yeah, he does a bit on safety third where he's like, we actually make things less safe, less efficient when we go safety first. Nothing ever gets done, and we're not actually safe because we're so padded and
Right.
protected,
Yeah.
insulated from anything.
Yeah. But we lose that connection.
Yeah.
Um.
So you kind of already mentioned servicing tractors, small engines. We talked
Yeah.
about that a bit. Your mom brought up keeping tools sharp, clean, ready, oiled up.
I don't know if anybody who actually runs with a scythe. I actually have a scythe because why not? Get a good scythe stone. It is important having it to be as sharp as you possibly can get it.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen videos of people using scythes versus like machinery. It's
Yeah.
really pretty incredible when you
It
get
really is, and oh my gosh, it's a workout. Oh, I
Yeah.
had no. I'm like swinging away. I'm like, oh, this is easy. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting tired. And then I'm really tired. I am in bad shape.
Yep. Yeah, it is a good workout. The only thing I have wrong like against it is it's so repetitive
Yeah.
that you're building one muscle group and you're only
Yes.
really swinging it one direction.
It would be nice if you could flip it over and swing it the other way. But I've
Yeah.
got several of those really steep hillsides that drop down into my drainages that I can't get anything else on there. So I'm like, I need some way. It's either that or a blowtorch. I need some way of cleaning this off. And I'm like, scythe is cool.
Yeah. No,
It's a
that's
good thing to
pretty
just
neat.
have. And I cut the snot out of my fingers. I was like, wow, this is probably pretty sharp. Oh yeah, it's really sharp.
Yeah. One, if it's
That was
one,
dumb.
is it the type that you maintain by blows like pounding, or the type that you maintain
This one
by
you use a stone, you
stone?
sweep a stone across it. But yeah, there's the ones that have the little pinch that you can set it in between. You hammer it down and
Yeah.
work out the blade.
Well, either way, you're going to get a certain amount of serration along with the sharpness.
Yep, sure
So
is,
yeah, that'll.
because it grinds, it rips, it tears, it fingers included.
Yep, exactly. Um, so yeah, be careful. Don't test your scythe that way.
That's right.
So, have you ever run into people like um, I know people who are like expert knife makers, like
Oh
Patrick
yeah,
Gorman from Empty Knives,
right.
and he will occasionally. I'm sure he's not watching this, so he can't correct me, but I'm pretty sure he occasionally tests knives by you can stick them to your tongue and you can actually determine the sharpness by
mean,
doing that. I'm not recommending it to anybody, by the way, but
I wouldn't. I mean, I'll talk to Eddie. He lives across the street, and he owns Tactical Edge
Mhm.
custom knives. No, I wouldn't, but he would know. Ah, it is nerve wracking.
yeah. Rocky Pine says obtaining manual tools is backup power. Yeah.
Yep, and that's honestly when I was looking at it, I'm like, you know what, this is good to have because at some point my tractor might not work, and I might need to cut some stuff down. So having a scythe is useful.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There's so many things where like, we've got weed eaters, but when you realize like they're not efficient, not
No.
even close. Like, and
Well, it's
so
like what
there's,
you've talked about. Like if we had infinite energy, right?
Mhm.
That's we just throw energy at it, just like we throw money at a problem. it's not an efficient means of, fixing a problem or dealing with an issue. It's actually rudimentary and crass.
Yeah, yeah, and they are, and, they can do so much damage to certain fences, obviously
Mhm.
to fruit trees, to
Yep.
other things you care about, so,
Yep.
sometimes those manual tools just do a better job if you know how to use them.
Well, it really, in my experience, it comes down to, I take my time more when I'm working with those manual tools. When I'm using something like a weed eater, it's just like you're just hacking and slashing, you're just going,
Yep.
which never results in good, anything.
Well, it's kinda like, so we've been at our house, we've been moving back towards natural fibers, so
Yeah.
trying to find, um, you know, cotton clothes, especially, like, underclothes, like,
Okay.
T-shirts and things.
Yeah.
Um, you know, layer your
Real linen.
polyester on that, I guess, if you need it.
Sure.
Um, and sheets and things like that, and I've noticed, like, when I sleep, I don't have those wild temperature swings because cotton does or linen does so much better of a job
Mm,
moderating that, and you're like, "How did we get away from this?" And I think string trimmers and some of this other stuff, real similar. It's like,
yeah.
how did we get away from some of these tools that just, in most cases, work better, but this thing's more convenient because I put gas in it and pull the cord and I'm good to go.
Yeah. Right. Well, our air conditioner, we
Mhm.
become so reliant on an HVAC unit that we don't build our house to naturally convect. So we have other subsequent issues that we have to deal with because we're using such an inefficient system. It's, yeah, and it compounds, and it's like, no, it's simpler. Just go simpler.
Yeah, well, and I think it comes so let's tie 2 things together. We've got air conditioners, so we get used to being in a conditioned space. We're not
Yes.
good at going outside. But then you compound that with, okay, I can turn my air conditioner on and now all my polyester clothes, my plastic clothes
Oh, yeah. Right.
don't feel so bad.
Right.
But now I go outside, my body's not adjusted, my clothes are crap. And now I'm like, well, how do you even live without air conditioning? And what
Right.
I've found is good cotton clothes and acclimating yourself to the heat, it's really not that bad.
Yeah. Or wool. Get some
Mhm.
good wool socks. Darn tough. Go darn tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real wool too, because a lot of the socks that claim to be wool are
Art.
actually polyester.
Yes.
It's like 2% wool or something.
Yeah,
So
that's why I like darn tough, because like that's a, Vermont family that's been doing this for 100 and something years. Like, yeah, good stuff. Yeah,
yep.
all for yes, and same thing with, GPS. Like, kids don't know how to read a map. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like,
Mhm.
do you know what direction is north? Like right now, what direction is north?
Yep.
Like, do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've recounted this before, but we will all pick up maps at, like, the rest stations
Oh yeah,
for the state that we're in. Usually,
right.
I mean, I've got one for Tennessee, and my kids keep it in a little cubby in the back, and I'll occasionally just ask them, "Hey, where are we on the map?"
Nice.
And so they'll pull it out and they'll go, "What road did we just pass?"
Uh-huh.
And if they don't know which way is north, what's the next road we passed? And then,
There we go.
you
We have a
know,
direction.
yeah, now we've got it. So it's not perfect. They're not gonna, like, land navigate to
Yep.
some place by themselves, but if they need a map, they're gonna have that baseline. Their brain's acclimated to what a map looks like and how it works.
Right. Yes.
And so
Yeah.
I'll even ask them for directions to get home or to get to a place, like,
Oh yeah.
you know, like, "What's my okay, we just passed this road. Where do I need to turn to get home?"
Nice.
And so they'll give me directions. Of course, I don't need them, but
No,
it
that's
it
not the fun part. I remember going, it was my job at night. It was my job to navigate from our house to my cousin's house. It was
Mhm.
daytime that my sister could do it, but if it was at
Okay.
nighttime, I got to do it. And it was such a big thrill. It's like, okay, dad, turn right here. Now turn left there. And like, obviously he knew exactly where he was going, but it was a blast for me. So yeah,
Right.
no, I totally get that.
Yeah, and I think it's so easy to hand your kids a tablet or whatever else,
It's so much better to get him to look outside, look out the
mhm,
window, see
yep,
where we are.
to orient, to figure out, it's different time of day this time. Can you still figure it out?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Shadows
hugely
shadows
valid.
make a big difference, and yeah,
Yep, and, even to just be outside and be like, "Which way's north? We're on a hike, which way's north?"
right?
And, why is that north?
Yeah,
Well, because the shadows. And I'm like, well, what if we don't have shadows? Which way's north?
sure.
You know? So yeah, hugely important to use those old ways and get used to it. But
Well,
then
yeah,
you
and like
should.
like Vic has said, it's like it's good to be able to have that fallback to know it's there.
Mhm.
And it really informs a lot of our thinking on how we utilize modern technologies. Like, yeah, I have this, great, wonderful benefit because, and it's built on, and it has this purpose of, and the reason we have it is so that we don't have to, or whatever it is. We value things better. Because we understand where we came from.
Yep. Yeah, not only do I keep, you know, hard maps with me, um, I've got several of the because I can pick them up for like a buck at a garage sale. I've got several of those old standard GPS units.
Nice.
So
Old
you can
standalones that, yeah,
yeah.
just work.
Yeah, and even if GPS is out, they've got the maps in them.
True.
So they might be outdated, but they shouldn't be so badly outdated that you can't get somewhere.
Yeah, I say rivers are still pretty much where they were, and roads are pretty much where they were. So yeah,
Yep. Muscles and brains get bigger with the old ways.
I thought that
Yep.
was ears and noses.
So that's with age.
Oh, is that
Yeah. Yep. English language, it's hard.
all right? So where were we? I totally lost.
Oh, that's all right. So I think we were talking about infrastructure
Oh
and
yes,
tools. So I think the last one I had on that was greenhouses and high tunnels.
sweet, cool,
So the thing there is making sure you've got your system set up. Obviously, you can't get water in a greenhouse or a high tunnel from the rain
hmm
directly. So make sure your water systems are ready after having them drained out for the winter. Make
sure,
sure you don't have leaks, all that kind of stuff. Um, Make sure that everything's working the way it's supposed to. You roll up sides, so you don't burn all your plants if it gets too warm and they're not
sure,
working, or
right,
ventilation or whatever. So just go through your greenhouse, your high tunnel, whatever, and um, at this point you can probably start planting greens in those and do just fine. So
yeah,
make sure they're running, working properly. Oh, let's see. Food production and storage was my next
hmm
major item. Um, I put seed inventory. This one maybe you do in the winter, but you want to make sure you've got your seeds lined up for what you're actually going to plant,
sure.
and that you've got what you need before you go to try to plant
Before
it.
you go, yeah, right. Like, so what am I gonna plant now? It's like, well, I needed to have already ordered those.
Yep. Oh yeah, Vic says I think this was in response to the greenhouse stuff, but consider
Shade
shade
cloth.
cloth in the desert. That actually helps a lot here, especially if you're growing in a greenhouse or a high tunnel.
Yeah.
Um, Even if you're not, sometimes if you don't have enough afternoon shade, putting up
Hmm.
a shade cloth can make a big difference.
Depending on what you're growing, yeah. Some things need some shade.
Yep. Even tomatoes,
Hmm.
um, I've I haven't personally done it, but I know several people who've used shade cloth for tomatoes, so maybe like a 20-30% shade cloth,
Really?
and have gotten a lot better production
Huh.
because they're less stressed. Or at the near the end of the summer when it gets really hot,
Yeah, and they're
tomatoes actually there's
fatiguing.
temperatures yeah, there's temperatures where they won't actually produce. So the flowers won't take what they need to, and they won't produce new fruit. And
Sure.
so the shade cloth can actually help them produce fruit during times of the year when it's otherwise too hot.
Ha. Nice.
So yeah, that's good point, Vic. Um, let's see. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes and it's leaving dead space. Um,
You're good.
Clear storage areas for incoming harvest. So, this is the traditional or the kind of stereotypical spring cleaning.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, all the stuff that got shoved in a place for the winter, or even if you've got like food that you've stored, make sure to move that to the front of the shelf. Start using that and
Mm,
clear space for so you're not frantic trying to clear things out when you get the harvest.
right.
Um, Take care of that now while you're a little less busy.
Sure. So Vic had a question about seed expiration. So
Mhm.
I have no idea what, I know they have expiration dates on them. Is how legit is that?
Depends on the plant.
Oh,
So,
cool.
okay,
Okay.
fun little anecdote. I had a great uncle who went cave exploring in, what was it? He was in northern Illinois,
Okay.
and he found some squash seeds that had been left there by Native Americans. And they were estimated to be over 1,000 years old by an expert. He
Okay.
planted them and got a squash harvest. He was in the news
What?
in, I think it was Rockford, Illinois, but I can't remember for sure. But
That's
he was on
cool.
the news in the 80s,
With
and in the
thousand-year
newspapers
old
there.
seeds.
That's what the expert
What?
said. Now, that sounds crazy to me, but in the right humidity conditions, the right temperature conditions, which would have
Sure.
stayed exactly the same in that cave for
Right.
however long they were
Oh,
there, whether it was a couple hundred years, because there was like the native people had been pushed out at least several hundred years before.
sure. Yeah, they
So,
haven't physically been there, so yeah.
right. So these seeds are at least a couple hundred years old. They were set somewhere intentionally. So it was people who did it. And the
Wild.
squash that grew was no known variety or not even close to a known variety. Um,
So
which,
cool.
that was when I was a little kid. So
Yeah.
like by the time I had even heard of it, it was probably mid 90s and I don't think he had seeds left. But
Oh,
how cool would that have been to have
dude.
an
A
old Native American variety of squash?
right? Hasn't been seen in a millennia.
Yeah. But anyways, to answer Vic's question, some seeds, like squash seeds especially, but also tomato seeds, lesser extent, pepper seeds, if they're stored well, they can last a very, very long time.
Cool.
Other seeds like allium seeds, so that's gonna be like garlic and onions,
Oh,
which
okay.
generally you don't plant by seed as often, but you
Right.
can. Um, those last like a year to 2 years in most cases, and their viability drops off drastically.
Sure.
Um, and then also most lettuce or greens seeds. So, kale will last quite a bit long. Kale and brassicas will last quite a bit longer than your standard lettuces.
Sure. Or
And
hardier.
generally the softer the lettuce,
Yeah.
the kind of the more, um,
It's
yeah,
fragile.
soft, the less the seeds last. So you're looking at about 2 years if they're stored decently. Um, and so part of it is just viability. So you have, let's say it's 2 years and 85% of your lettuce seeds now won't germinate.
Wow.
Something like that. It depends on variety and storage and all that. But
Yeah, sure.
um, yeah, it really depends on what the plant is for how long those seeds will last and how it was stored. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I've seen 80-year-old tomato seeds that people have ordered. Um, actually, not many of them, but a few of them germinate.
Wow.
Um, are you familiar with M.I. Gardner on YouTube?
Mm-mm.
He's got a good channel.
Cool.
He's like a little bit master gardener focused, where
Okay.
it's like it's good information, but it's a little traditional at times.
Sure.
He sells seeds and stuff, but I remember maybe 6 years ago I watched a video he did where he ordered. It was like a wall hanging for a seed company, and there was a variety of tomato that
Oh,
you couldn't get anymore.
sure.
So it's just decoration from an old seed company
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
had on their wall, and he ordered it. It was over 80 years old. He got a couple of the seeds to germinate, but I think they eventually died off. They didn't have quite enough
Sure.
stamina to make it, but they're 80 years old and they still germinated. So
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
wild.
As far as testing them, put them in a pot, see how many pop up, right? And
Right.
then you have your kind of your viability, what your percentage is.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Um,
I think planning would be our
yeah.
last one. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of planning and operations of your homestead. This is really important. You know, I'd actually recommend doing it kind of winter because you've got typically have a little bit more time.
Time. Yeah. Right.
But seasonal labor, kind of your workflow, your planning, orienting your goals is it's just so important to write down your goals.
Mhm.
Each year, actually a couple times a year, Megan and I will like sit down and just write down what's the priority on our homestead. What do we want to, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
what do we want to put money towards? What do we want to put time towards? What's going to get us the most bang for the buck, essentially,
Sure.
this year, as far as improvements, expansions, um, and then not going too far, or
Yeah, don't overextend.
mhm. Yeah, or fix the problems from last year. Maybe
Yeah,
take a year off from expanding anything.
sure. And yeah, if you can do, one thing that will save you, 5 minutes a day, do that, because that's gonna save you hours over each season.
Mhm. I'd also say start tracking if you're doing something for the purpose of, selling or enterprise, start
Mm,
tracking, you know, what that's actually taking. Get a
yes.
realistic understanding like, here's the amount I spent on seeds, here's the time I spent.
It's too easy to go, "Oh, yeah, I just," like, all those "I just" add up to a
Mhm.
huge amount of time and energy.
Yeah, and if you're trying to be profitable in some way, those that matters
It does.
because you've got your opportunity cost.
Mhm.
If you're putting it into one thing, it means you can't do something else.
Yep.
And so knowing that, I'm selling my tomatoes at whatever, $10 a pound. I don't know
Yeah,
what tomatoes sell
I have
for.
no idea.
Uh, that's probably too much. But anyways, I'm selling my tomatoes for X number of dollars per pound processed, and it took me, an hour to process those tomatoes plus all the time and expense to grow them and all the
Yeah.
stuff amendments. And I'm like, I'm making $1 an hour,
Yeah,
right?
right?
Like that's not worth
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's not worth it, yeah.
So and it's very easy to do homestead math and not realize how many hours you put into it if you're not tracking it.
Yep. Yeah, so, yeah, having a good plan. I love that you differentiate between the plan and the prioritization, because 'cause I'm really bad at conflating the 2. It's like, "Well, it's on the plans, of course it's a priority." Like, "No,
Right.
that's not the same thing."
Yep.
And then tracking it, absolutely.
Yeah, and it can be hard to prioritize things. But if you've got a spouse who is or partner or whatever who's good at um willing to talk through something to kind
Sure.
of back and forth without getting offended or hurt by it or whatever,
Right.
that can be a really good way of like whittling down what are your actual goals, what are your
Mhm.
true priorities. That's going to help a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, and, going back to the viability of a, if you're trying to make money, it may not be what you think is actually worth the money, because it may be something else that's silly that actually makes more money for the effort and the time that it
Yeah.
requires. So you might have to reprioritize based on that. If that's what you're trying to do is make money, then you might not be doing the tomatoes. You might be doing chickens and eggs, or you might be doing freeze drying, or you might, there's maybe something else.
Yeah. And you're if you're doing something that's not valuable, you're essentially subsidizing that thing in place of something else.
Yep.
And it's something like just about everybody I talk with has at least some amount of like I have a list of goals that people can choose from
Sure.
to help them think through it for homestead consultations. And just about everybody says that they want to make money from their homestead. That might be a lower goal than others, some might have it higher. But what I've found is that when you're doing that, you need to find a niche.
Yes.
So you need to not get, obsessed with this thing is, bees are going to make me $20,000 a year and it's going to take me 10 hours. It's like,
Right.
I actually know somebody who that, it's more than 10 hours, but it
Yeah.
makes them like $20,000 a year
Yeah.
for like, um, uh, it's like a week or two of sales.
Yeah.
And so it's a great income source, but it's a
Yeah.
really niche thing that they've figured out all the ins and outs of.
Right.
You're not going to do that, with honey, right? He's doing that by splitting bees in a certain way that is advantageous,
Mhm.
and he's built in all the costs. he knows all the ins and outs of his business.
Right.
And it took time to come to that because he started with honey.
Right.
He's like, this is not worth it. And figured out that there was a way of splitting hives and selling the hives, and just cutting cost and effort down to almost nothing. And then the honey is his to keep, and he doesn't make that much of it anymore.
Sure. Sure.
So, yeah, being willing to adjust on the fly and find that niche and then market that niche is really the only way that I've seen be viable for making
Yeah.
true money on the homestead.
Sure. Marketing's hard. Like
Mhm.
well, we struggle with it continually. Getting in front of the people who actually care about your product is difficult.
Yeah.
You'd think that in this day and age of social media, that'd be easy, but it really isn't. Well, maybe it's just the niche that we find ourselves in. It does not seem to be easy to get in front of people.
Yeah. Well, like Facebook has these marketing tools
Yeah.
and you can like narrow down to these really specific demographics,
Right.
but like homesteading, it's like, I does not compute.
No, it does not get it. It does not
Right.
understand.
Yeah. It's like you're going in a wagon to where?
Yeah, right. Which coming back to community, which is why it's so great. Like I have people come in the shop and there's like, oh dude, I'm so glad that I know that this is here. I'm like, sweet, tell your friends.
Yeah. Or yeah, so for me, the thing that's helped the most, and this is how we met, was teaching classes.
Yeah. Yep.
And that goes back, it function stacks in multiple ways because it just helps people.
Yeah.
And then when people see that I'm willing to just help them and not, you know,
No
no
expectation of,
charge,
yeah. No, it's
yeah,
like,
just
here, I want
come
you
and
to
learn.
succeed in life.
Yep. Speaking of which, and
Yep.
marketing,
Yeah.
since I have the platform at the moment, um, if anybody's anywhere near Spencer this weekend on Saturday at 2 p.m.,
Yeah.
I'm doing a class on small scale solar for your homestead. Um, that's going to be at the Burritt Library in Spencer. Great. It's an amazing tiny library run by an amazing person.
Yep.
And everybody who shows up is always just like so eager to do cool things and talk to other people. So,
Great
um,
people. Always.
yeah. So if you're anywhere, within like an hour and a half of the Spencer Library or even further, come out 2 p.m. this Saturday, the 20th. And I think it's 20th, right?
21st? Isn't it?
21st, maybe. Yeah.
21st.
Join me out there. There's going to be awesome people to meet. So, um, and beyond that, keep an eye on my socials. I'm going to be doing a swales class in a couple of months here. That's going to be a paid one, but tons of stuff to learn. We're going to do real hands-on. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really good class. So,
Nice.
yeah, but
Very cool.
that's my soapbox.
There you go. I like it. Well, then I'll be partnering up with a local guy up in Spencer, Scott Hutton. We'll be doing a specifically to women a confidence class on firearms. We're going to be teaching a class super chill, like we're not going to be firing any guns. There won't even be ammunition, but we want women to come out and learn to be comfortable around them, to know how to manipulate them, how to be safe with them. So we'll be doing that. March 21st is the tentative date, which is a Saturday.
Cool.
So keep your eye open for that class. I'll be posting up more info later.
That's great. Yeah, I think it's overlooked because like guys don't have to defend themselves against women typically.
Right.
So,
Well, and like
yeah,
you'll hand your wife the gun, like, here, reload this, and she's just like, how? Like, oh, I wouldn't even realize that you wouldn't know how to drop a mag and how to load it up and how to chamber it. Like, okay, let's go over that. Let's like, because you don't want to shoot yourself or shoot your significant other. Like, oops,
right.
sorry. So I
Yeah,
actually had a
safety is kind
friend.
of important.
Yeah, right. I had a friend. She it was during the fire. She didn't feel comfortable with firearms. Her husband had a rather extensive collection. She couldn't pick them up. She couldn't move them because she was so scared of them going off or something. that she left them behind and they all burnt. And she, after that day, she was just bound and determined she was going to become comfortable with firearms to the point where she like started shooting in competitions, and she's like got
Wow.
really good at shooting because she was just bound and determined. She's like, I'm not going to let that ever happen. That's never going to be a thing again. I'm going to
Yeah.
know how to use these guns. I'm going to be comfortable with them. And she is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I personally think that even if you're not going to personally engage in going out to the range or whatever else, that having some base knowledge to
Yes.
feel a little more comfortable to understand what the thing even
Yeah.
is really important. And um, there's some groups I'm associated with or have worked with in various ways, but they'll if they do a class on firearms, they'll separate the husband from the wife because
Oh,
you know
yes.
married people tend not to always listen to their spouse really great.
Right.
Um,
That's funny.
and so and it can be really nerve-wracking to, have your husband or your wife or someone hand you something and be like, "You should learn about this thing I learned about and I know everything about."
Yeah. And have that expectation of, oh, I should already know this because my husband knows about this. And, or, yeah,
Right.
we want to
Yeah,
remove
and
all of that.
yeah, it just removes all the kinda anxiety because
Yeah. No
it's
preconceived expectations at all. Yeah, come in. So yeah, if you're interested in you're in the Spencer area next month and you want to become comfortable with firearms, I'll be teaching a class on becoming comfortable with firearms.
cool. Yeah, I like that concept. Um, I had one more bullet
Yeah.
point, which probably doesn't matter all that much, but it's
Yep.
actually a really kind of an important thing to wrap up with, I guess, is have a maintenance plan.
Yes.
So, um, if it's greasing your tractor and you're like, I use my tractor at 10 hours a week and it needs grease on these points every 40 hours. Well,
Right.
once a month is my maintenance plan, or
Hmm.
whatever it is. Maybe it's you've got rainwater catchment, and your gutters sometimes get leaves in them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's every 2 months you go up and check for leaves, and in the fall it's once a week or
Yeah. And
whatever it is.
I would factor in their costs. So
Mhm.
if you're, you have to replace something, a filter or a whatever hose, amortize that cost over that specific time, pre-allocate that money, whether it's, envelope system, like, old school or whatever, figure out those costs so that when you do have to do that, you already have the money. It's not an emergency. It's not, having to pull from savings. It's there. You're prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good point too, to amortize over a period and have that money to either purchase those things that you'll need or have some you should have an extra on hand anyways too.
Yeah, you should definitely do first in, first out. It's like, I've got this already, but this money is going to be buying the replacement for that one, so that then I have another on hand.
Yeah, two is one is none.
That's right.
So when one breaks and you put the other in, now you've also got the money to buy the next one that sits on the shelf waiting for when the
The
next
next
one
time. Yep,
breaks. Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
No, that's a good point. So yeah, along with the maintenance plan, having a having some plan with that maintenance to have those parts on hand. Yeah, but writing out a maintenance plan, like here's the things that we should be checking periodically,
Hmm.
and because it's so easy to just get going and get busy
Right.
and forget that it's been 3 months since you've checked on, I don't know, the cleanliness of your water tank or
Right.
whatever it is.
It's full of algae and like
Yeah.
frogs.
Right. Yeah, you've got critters in there. That's not good. So, well, I think that's kind of what I wanted to cover.
Yeah,
We've
it was good.
gone over time a bit, but hopefully that's been helpful for everybody in the chat and watching.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here today. This was a timely one. I was really glad to actually. I don't know if Kate's still watching or not, but if she is, this was actually her suggestion.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Right on.
I was talking with her yesterday. I was like, um, I got to figure out what I need to do for the podcast. She's like, what about getting ready for spring? I like that. I'll do
Right.
that. So, yeah. Thank you, Kate, for the suggestion. And thank you all for being here. Jared, you got any closing thoughts, or you want to tell people where they can find your stuff?
Sure, I can tell them about that. So I am Jared Wilson. I own Resilient Living. So we sell a lot of preparedness equipment. So which overlaps a lot with like camping and hiking stuff and your general, prepper stuff. So I've got freeze dried foods. I have a whole smattering of books that cover topics like what we were talking about today, and homesteading kind of things to things. I sell Baofeng radios and program those. I just got my firearms license, so I'll be doing gunsmithing and gun sales. I sell a whole bunch of knives and ammunition. So yeah, you can find us on resilientliving.com. On YouTube is Resilient Living, Facebook's Resilient Living, Instagram's Resilient Living, TikTok is resilient_living with a G. So
Can't get them all.
I know it was so close. It was so close.
All right. My name is Ryan Steva. I am the homestead consultant, because that was the URL that I could get, and it works. So if you've got homesteading questions, or you want to set up a homestead, or you want some help figuring something out or avoiding some big mistakes, that's the kind of stuff I do. I love doing on-site consults, especially local, but I'll travel or do distance consults as well. So if you need any of that kind of stuff, reach out to me. You can find all my stuff at thehomesteadconsultant.com. And I've got a YouTube channel, which is a good chance you're watching it on this. But if you want to subscribe, that would help me out a lot, because I try to put out good content for pretty much anybody who's thinking about homesteading stuff. I put together careful content that is helpful and not, I don't know, some of the homestead channels are either about, scaring people
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever the next big thing is. And it's like, no, I'm just going to put out useful, do it yourself,
That's right.
real information. So, if you're seeing this on my YouTube page, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, yeah, like, share, subscribe, send it to a friend. Yeah, it helps us out a lot.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you next Tuesday at 7.
Sounds good, man. See you.
Later.